Can you believe there was a time when the humble tomato, the star of our pizzas and pastas, was considered a deadly poison? For over 200 years, most of Europe was terrified of this vibrant red fruit. They even gave it a sinister nickname, the poison apple. So what was going on? Why did an entire continent get it so wrong about something we now eat every single day? Imagine stepping back in time to a lavish dinner party in the 1700s. The table is laden with all sorts of delicious food. But there's one thing you won't see anyone touching, the tomato. If you offered one to a guest, they might look at you in horror, as if you just handed them a cup of arsenic. It sounds crazy to us, but back then the fear was very real. People genuinely believed that eating a tomato could lead to sickness and even death. The story of the tomato's bad reputation starts when it was first brought to Europe from the Americas by Spanish explorers in the 16th century. Initially, it was grown mostly as an ornamental plant in the gardens of the wealthy. It was beautiful, sure, but definitely not for eating. Part of the suspicion came from its family tree. Botanists correctly classified the tomato as a member of the nightshade family, which includes some truly poisonous plants like belladonna, also known as deadly nightshade. To the European eye, the resemblance was a bit too close for comfort, so they just assumed the tomato was guilty by association. But the real mystery, the thing that truly cemented the tomato's reputation as a killer, had to do with the rich. You see, when wealthy Europeans started cautiously experimenting with eating tomatoes, a strange and frightening pattern emerged. People would eat a tomato and then some of them would get sick and die. Naturally, everyone pointed the finger at the poison apple. It seemed like an open and shut case. The tomato was a murderer. But here's the twist, the crucial clue that everyone missed. It wasn't the tomato at all. The real culprit was what they were eating of. The wealthy in the 1700s and 1800s used fancy pewter plates and goblets. Pewter in those days wasn't the safe alloy we have today. It contained a very high concentration of lead. Lead, as we now know, is incredibly toxic. So what does this have to do with tomatoes? Well, tomatoes are highly acidic. When a juicy, acidic tomato was placed on one of these lead-heavy pewter plates, a chemical reaction would occur. The acid from the tomato would leach the lead right out of the plate and into the food. The unsuspecting diner would then eat the tomato, along with a dose of lead poison. They weren't being poisoned by the fruit. They were being poisoned by their own fancy tableware. The tomato was just an innocent accomplice, the unwitting trigger for a crime committed by the plate itself. Meanwhile, the poorer classes, who ate off of simple wooden plates or trenchers made of bread, had no such problems. They ate tomatoes without any ill effects, but their experiences were largely ignored by the upper echelons of society and medical professionals of the time. For the elite, the evidence was clear. Rich people ate tomatoes and died, so tomatoes must be poisonous. The connection to the pewter plates was completely overlooked for centuries. So how did the tomato finally clear its name and become one of the most popular foods in the world? The turnaround was slow, but it was helped by a few key events. One of the most famous stories involves the invention of pizza. In the late 1880s in Naples, Italy, a pizzaiolo, a pizza maker, was tasked with creating a dish for the visiting Queen Margherita. He created a pizza with the colors of the Italian flag, white mozzarella cheese, green basil, and you guessed it, red tomato sauce. The Queen loved it, and her royal endorsement gave the tomato a huge boost in public perception. If it was good enough for a queen, it couldn't be poison, right? This event, combined with the gradual shift away from lead-based pewter to more stable materials like ceramic, slowly began to change minds. People started to realize that the stories of the poison apple were just that, stories. As more and more people ate tomatoes without dropping dead, the fear began to fade. Italian immigrants played a huge role in popularizing the tomato in America, bringing their delicious, tomato-rich recipes with them. Eventually, science caught up. By the late 19th century, our understanding of chemistry and toxicology had advanced enough to definitively identify lead poisoning and exonerate the tomato. Scientists could finally explain that the real villain was the lead in the pewter plates, not the acid in the fruit. And from there, the tomato's rise was unstoppable. It went from a feared garden ornament to a culinary staple. Think about it, where would we be without ketchup, salsa, pasta sauce, or a fresh caprese salad? The tomato is everywhere, a cornerstone of cuisines from Italian to Mexican to Indian. It's packed with vitamins and antioxidants like lycopene, making it not just delicious, but incredibly good for us. The story of the poisonous tomato is a fascinating lesson in how easily we can jump to the wrong conclusion. It shows how we can misinterpret evidence and blame the innocent victim when the real cause is hidden in plain sight. It took a simple change, you switching from pewter plates to wooden or ceramic ones, to reveal the truth. So next time you're enjoying a slice of pizza or some spaghetti bolognese, take a moment to appreciate the humble tomato and its wild journey from a feared poison apple to a beloved global superstar. It's a pretty incredible comeback story, all thanks to a little bit of science and a change of dinnerware. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as I did, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden histories of our world. See you in the next video.